we're going back to Arkansas because it's fucked up down there, you guys. And guess who's involved? Project Sam. The Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation is officially opposing the medical marijuana amendment of 2024, but their reasons remain somewhat unclear. This Monday, the organization established a ballot question committee to rally against the proposed amendment, which seeks to broaden access to medical marijuana. In the past, the Farm Bureau also opposed a recreational marijuana legalization effort, spending over $34,000 on advertisements. However, their recent paperwork doesn't outline a specific reason for opposing this amendment. Spokesman Steve Eddington stated their opposition stems from their broader policy positions on marijuana, which notably do not directly address the medical marijuana amendment currently at hand. The amendment would allow more medical professionals to certify patients and expand the qualifying conditions for medical marijuana, among other changes. Eddington pointed out that while the organization's policies are updated annually, none specifically pertain to this year's amendment. Meanwhile, other groups like Protect Arkansas Kids and Stronger Arkansas have also formed to oppose this expansion. As the discussion evolves, the Arkansas Farm Bureau stance raises questions about their views on medical versus recreational marijuana and the implications for Arkansas residents. So once again, here's Arkansas fighting against access. But we don't know why, right? We have no reason. We have no verifiable issues that we can point to, but we just don't want it. So I think that this really sucks. I would love to see a little bit more expanded access in Arkansas, and I think they're going to have a tough time pushing everything through. I'd love to say that we've seen positive news, but it seems like we've seen a lot of back and forth and a lot more people stepping up to oppose than maybe consciously advocating. So I'll throw it back to you guys. I'd love to hear your opinions on this one.
Yeah, they didn't really give a real reason as to why they opposed this, did they, Jenny? It just went round and round on a merry-go-round.
They were just like, I don't like it. And let's be real. That's the real issue. People don't understand it, so they're scared of it. So they just vote no and vehemently oppose something that they truly don't understand instead of taking the time and the personal onus to actually do some research and learn what access would mean for people. This Protect Arkansas Kids. Why don't you look and see how many kids have been helped by this plant? Why don't you see how many kids aren't having constant seizures and are able to go play outside because of this plant? You want to protect kids, find out what you're protecting them from, because when you're stopping access, you're not protecting kids. You're bringing more people in who will gladly sell to your children because you definitely can't buy it at a shop.
Very true. Mathieu St. Germain, what do you got to say?
I've been to Arkansas. It frightened me. I went a couple years in a row, and I had to stop. Actually,
it frightened me.
On this, I was. They have a thing called Mudstock. It's about 7,000 to 10,000 people. It's a week long, 4x4 competitions in the day, rock music festival at night. I did the play-by-play for the 4x festival with a helmet cam running by next to these fucking cars while they're doing the hill climbs and all this stuff.
That sounds awesome.
And I emceed the festival at night.
Oh, boy.
It was fun. It was gnarly. I did it for 2 years in a row, and then I was like, I'm good on Arkansas. I love it there. It's beautiful, but luck, guys. Arkansas.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, bud.
Interesting.
I got
the
FOMO.
thing is, in the South, we're still dealing with a couple thousand years of Christian propaganda and programming, and really, folks get brave enough to embrace the fact that we live in an ocean of chaos, and we do not know actually where we come from or where we are going. We are all going to die.
I know where I come from, and I know where I'm going.
At the time that we die, we are going to be alone, and there will be no pause button. And take responsibility for that and stop giving their power away to other people who tell them it's going to be okay. We're constantly going to have this. We're going to have people who are willing to give their thought processes over to a religious leader, to a strong man, to a guru figure, to some sort of space daddy who's going to take your power, take your money, abuse you, because they offer you peace of mind that you are going to be okay.
Mathieu St. Germain.
Look you in the mirror. Tell yourself, I'm not going to be okay. I'm going to die. It could be fucking horrific. But you know what I am going to do? I'm going to greet my death as a warrior with my eyes open. I am going to retain my power. I am going to be clear thinking and clear acting and will help other people. And then maybe, as Jenny said, people can do more research, do more reading instead of watching YouTube videos to educate themselves, begin making better choices for themselves and others.
Mathieu St. Germain, have you ever seen Reservoir Dogs?
Yes, sir.
You're going to be okay.
No one is going to be okay, but that's okay.
You're going to be okay, I promise. You are going to be okay. What do you have to say about this, Yarrow?
Here we go.
Reservoir Dogs was my favorite romantic comedy for sure. And
that was a romantic comedy.
I get, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it's easy for us on the coastal states to kind of beat up on either the Midwest or the Deep South. I think that's totally unfair, and I'll probably continue to participate in a little bit of that geography shaming. That said, as Mathieu is sharing his experiences in this state, I'm thinking it sounds kind of fun down there, and I'm thinking that
I want to check out this event.
The majority of the people there probably want a bit more of an enlightened view with cannabis policy. Even if it's not for them, I think most of the people in these areas would agree that personal freedoms, the right to self-determination, the ability to make adult choices if you are an adult, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, does actually probably align with their worldview. So I don't know that the majority of people feel that adding in regulated cannabis is going to somehow be an end to their civil and polite society as they know it, but it's probably it's not a big issue for people who don't have a family member who is suffering with a malady that could potentially be mitigated or cured or reduced through the use of medical cannabis. And so I just, it's like you talk to a lot of people who say that they're not in favor of gay rights, but then as you start talking to them, turns out they have a cousin who's gay as a $3 bill, and they're like, yeah, well, fuck them gays, except for my cousin Andy. And then you're like, oh, well, but what about cousin Andy? Doesn't he kind of represent maybe more than just your cousin? Then you start diving down, and they're like, well, okay, fine. People should be able to marry whoever the fuck they want as long as it's not my decision. Great. So you are in favor of same-sex marriages. And you have to sort of tease that out of them. And I feel like that's the same thing when it comes to certainly medical cannabis and to a lesser but still pretty significant degree adult use cannabis. And even people who aren't really thinking that it's for them, as you start to drill down, they're like, well, yes, adults should probably be able to make that choice for themselves. And so I just think that until we get to a place where every state has a program, we've got a real lack of progress. And at the end of the day, it's patients and people who are just seeking low impact homeostasis for themselves without maybe the use of other intoxicants. It's just unfortunate that they can't have the access that's become normalized in so many other markets.
Fair. I'm going to yes and what Yarrow said and say that all of this represents what we're seeing so much in our political theater on social media and even on the High at Night News. Every decision is a decision between fear and love. You can use logic to decide to really discern and define what your decision is based on. Is your decision based on fear, or is your decision based on love?
Well, I'm just going to say in regards to this, I wish the Department of Agriculture over there would get it together, because actually they should be embracing cannabis, because cannabis is an agricultural commodity, and they need to look at it from that approach as opposed to this misguided, uneducated stigma that it has carried along with it for so many years. But nonetheless, do you all know that Henry Ford made a Model T that was completely made of hemp? Yes.
Body panels were hemp fiber, light carbon fiber, using hemp resin to
hemp was out lobbied, bro. Back then, hemp was out lobbied. That's what it comes down to.
The upholstery was all hemp fabric. There's actually a video of him smashing the car trunk with a baseball bat. And he cannot dent the trunk, and this was in like 1910 or something. The car also run on hemp seed oil as well. And I think that's what we really need to see in the hemp space is people getting away from smokable hemp and digging into industrial hemp.
Yep, I'm all about that.
Substitutes.
I am all about that, 100%.
Completely agree.
Well, I'm gonna roll into my last story, you guys. I think you guys will find some humor in this. I know when I saw this headline,
make me laugh, funny man.
Yes.